Hey, Miss Can't Be Wrong, you still here? Good to see you. I hope you're doing okay today. Nobody? One person. Hit the like, please. Six people. Hit the like on your way in, guys. I'd appreciate it very much. Joey Dimes. Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it. It'll take a while. It's the same thing in the beginning of every show. I can't stand it, but there's no way around it, you know? No way around it. Unless I finish my Trump song, then I could play that for a few minutes before I come on the screen, you know? Try to get some people in here by then. Mike Ramey, year guys, just so you know, and I'll repeat this throughout the show. Not every show, has to be about what the title says or what's up here. I do that obviously to grab people's attention and to get them to stick around, rather than scrolling right past it. But we could always talk about anything politics related or Trump related. I just do that because well, not just that, but I think it's a kind of a pressing issue. I don't believe that we're going to get the Epstein files when we're supposed to on the 19th. I don't believe so. Not at all. I think Donald Trump could just release them now. But he doesn't want to. No one will ever see the full Epstein files ever. I guarantee it. And why do you think that is, Mike? I think it's a shame personally. But I think, of course, my opinion would be that it's Donald Trump that's making it that way. Now, I can't say that when it was in the Dems' hands, they didn't redact anything or take anything out of them. I can't say for sure. But, the bottom line is the only people we have credible information on as far as being in those files is Donald Trump. So here we go. There's the first guy to say it. Why didn't the Dems release them for 4 years? Why didn't Donald Trump release them before the Dems took power? Tell me that. We'll be getting that the whole show. Why didn't the Dems release them? Like that has anything to do with the fact that Trump won't release them. It's called whataboutism. What about the Dems? So why didn't Trump release them before the Biden took office, buddy? The rich will protect each other. Yeah, you didn't answer. That's because I want to hear your answer first as to why Trump didn't release them. I play the same game on every show. God, I'm waiting. Why didn't Trump release them in his first term? Doesn't seem like Anthony wants to answer. Biden didn't because there was nothing. Why didn't Trump release the Epstein files since there was nothing? There was nothing. You believe this guy? Another one that wanted those Epstein files until he found out Trump was in them. Come on, Anthony. Especially if there was nothing in them, right? Why didn't he release them? Because of named victims. Nope. Then if that's the reason, then why would Democrats release them? If Biden didn't release them because of victims that were named in the files, then why would you expect the Democrats to release them? Do you want to know the answer, Anthony? So there was a lot of ongoing investigations and litigation and shit going on during Biden's administration. And by the way, during Trump's first administration too. Okay. Biden would have done anything to go against Trump. No, he wouldn't have. Democrats are pussies. And Ghislaine Maxwell was she got prosecuted under the Biden administration, not the Trump administration. And she immediately appealed her case and has been appealing it ever since, up until 2025. And that's why the files weren't released then. That's why people are making such a big deal out of it in 2025, because now they can be released. So they can redact victims' names, of course. Thanks, Nick. You are blind as a bat. How do you figure, Anthony? I just gave you the answer. You think like a child. Really? But I just gave you the answer. Am I wrong about that? Was there not ongoing investigations and litigation under the Biden administration related to the Epstein files? If America isn't at war with Venezuela, then the 98th article was in violation, so I feel doesn't apply with war crimes, but murder. Yeah, you're probably right, Ted Garcia. Anthony, tell me how I think like a child. Tell me what I just told you that's wrong. Yeah, because they couldn't just leak it. No, they really couldn't. Jeffrey Cortez, or I'm sorry, who said that? Oh, Jason. You realize that it's a huge sex trafficking ring, right? Jeffrey Epstein is like the most prolific pedo in American history, and that could have destroyed everything. If those files would have gotten out, Ghislaine Maxwell could have gotten off. Everybody would have gotten away with it. And any litigation that would have been ongoing or any ongoing investigations would have been ruined. Oh, yeah? What's the big picture? Why don't you tell me, Anthony? Tell me about the big picture. MAGA is what the country needs. Oh, yeah? Tell me why. Just like we will never know the truth about JFK or aliens, the rich and powerful will keep the Epstein perps hidden into perpetuity. Well, maybe, I don't know. I really don't see that as an excuse, though. FBS Congress subpoenaed Watergate and J6 during litigation and trials. Okay, well, in that case, then, and I mean, it's not an excuse. It's the reason. It's the absolute reason. But why didn't Trump release them then, Mike Ramey? So you'd have to agree that Trump was hiding them too, right? You are a checker player. It's checkers, dummy. And your boy isn't playing 3D chess. He's a fucking moron. Donald Trump is a moron. So anybody who would say that, like Mike Ramey, if that's your position, then you have to agree that Trump could have released them too and decided not to. And I'll take that. I'll accept that. Although you'd have to explain to me, Mike Ramey, why the Democrats, since they could have released them according to you, whenever they wanted to, even if there was ongoing litigation and cases, then why are they pushing to release them now? Why are the Democrats pushing to have them released now? Trump ran on it to get votes, of course, but why are the Democrats pushing to get it released now? If they could have released it, but they were hiding it because of Democrats being in them, then why are they pushing to get them released now? 5 years now, Trump won't release them. No, he won't. Not likely. Trump doesn't want that getting out. No, he doesn't. He does not. Dems are pushing it because Trump reneged on it. So your assumption would be then that the Democrats aren't worried about much as far as they're concerned, right? Because they want the files out there. And it's not just that he reneged on it. It's that, it's become obvious that Trump is in them. There's no question about it. So when you know somebody's in those files and he appears to be covering them up, it's because he is covering them up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's another reason Dems want them out so much. Yep. Why did 3 Democratic judges stop the release, yet the Republican judges did? Fact. Jesus Christ. It wasn't the Epstein files, SL Custom Carpentry. It was the grand jury testimony from Ghislaine's trial. And the judges that refused to release the files couldn't have released the files because of Ghislaine Maxwell's last appeal. You see, that's why a judge is ordering the release now, because her appeals have been exhausted. The Supreme Court shot her shit down, okay, a few months ago. So that's why. They weren't the Epstein files. It was grand jury testimony from Ghislaine's case. That's it. And the judge couldn't release it. So there's your answer to that. You're so crazy. Why is that, Chris Sack? Dems only cover up. Dems now want to release because Trump does not want to see victims hurt. Anthony, you mean Trump, the guy that victimized those victims to begin with? He doesn't want to see them hurt. Yeah, the sexual assaulter doesn't want to see the victims hurt. Yeah, Dems only cover up. Yeah, right. That's why Dems are the only reason that these files might actually get released someday. Dems now want to release them because Trump doesn't want to see victims hurt. That's hilarious, man. Not even Donald Trump ever said, I'm worried about the victims. Mike Johnson did. He was lying, of course. Other Republicans, not Trump. You copied me with the Cash App. No, Jeffrey, are you the guy? You the hilarious guy that calls in? No, the Cash App, I've had a channel for 4.5 years. My Cash App is always in my regular live streams, just not much in these because nobody really uses the Cash App. What unpresidential action did he do today? It's every day. Today, I haven't been paying much attention, but I'm sure there was something. They weren't hiding it. If they had released it, Republicans would have whined and screamed that it was no fair because most of the list are Republicans. Yeah. Cash, Bongino, Bondi all ran on them, promised them, said they had them on their desk. That's right. That's right. Wrong. Get a clue. You may want to study law. Oh, SL Custom Carpentry. You're a lawyer now? I may want to study law. You're a fucking idiot. Okay, tell me the law. Tell me the reason. Go ahead. I'll wait. You libs are insane. I'm not a lib. Yes, toss my cell. That was hilarious, Jeffrey. I didn't know that was your name. Good job. So why aren't Republicans releasing it? Oh, exactly. Republicans now, they can. Ghislaine's appeals are exhausted. Trump could release them right now. Yeah, Chris, that's because Chris is amazing. The channel is about Trump. Like the majority of the channel now, the majority of live streams I do are about Trump. And the only other live streams I do are about other shit that has nothing to do with politics. So what should I talk about on my anti-Trump channel? Not Trump? What would your suggestion be for me to do content every day? What should I talk about exactly? Since I'm doing anti-Trump shows, what should I talk about? Board games and shit? Auto mechanics? What? Gardening? Basketball? What would you like that I talk about? Trump doesn't want to see his victims hurt. LMAO. Yeah, that's why his victims, exactly. His victim. I'd hate to see the people I SA'd hurt. Yeah. You are suffering from severe cognitive dissonance due to the effects of ideological subversion. You are simply brainwashed, the low IQ left in a nutshell. SL Custom Carpentry, you can call me right now at 410-941-9850 and we can debate and we can see. Because believe me, I mean, facts are facts. This is why I got to bring it up on every show because you guys say dumb things like low IQ left. The red states in this country are the least educated, dumbest states in the country. They're the ones that voted for Trump. The most well-educated states in this country voted for Harris and Biden and Obama. So that's the fact of the matter there. You could check it out, but you could never hang with me in a fucking debate ever. You've already said some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my chats. The victims, in quotes, now consider themselves survivors for the most part, and they are standing in groups on the steps of the Capitol expressing their disappointment that the files are still not out. That's true. Is that right, Jeffrey? Yeah. I copied a Cash App idea. Can you believe it? Explain the Biden years of not releasing them. I want to know how a nut like you spins that. There's no spin. It's very simple. Ghislaine Maxwell was prosecuted under Joe Biden, right? So she was convicted, we'll say, because the prosecution began under Trump, but she was still being prosecuted under Biden, and she was convicted under Biden. Okay. There was also ongoing litigation, like civil suits with Prince Andrew and other people like that, and they were still investigating to see who else they might want to charge. Plus, Ghislaine Maxwell's case went on appeal immediately after she lost her case, and it's been on appeal up until 2025. It's been on appeal the entire time. So it's not a spin. That's the reason. You just don't like it. So there you go. Oh, that's why. Why do you think it's such a big deal now? Because Ghislaine Maxwell's appeals are exhausted, and they could release them now. That's why the judge just released the grand jury testimony, or just ordered the release of it, even though he wouldn't release it months ago, or judges in general wouldn't release it months ago. That's why. Because of her appeals. Oh, I found the Florida thing was never charged. They tried to indict him. He didn't have a trial in Florida. So the release of the grand jury stuff is from a case that never ran. Well, did it have evidence about her case? Like, is it grand jury stuff they also used in New York? Because Mike, I mean, you could try to deny that, but you can look it up anywhere you want from any source. And that's why the judges turned down the release, simply because the case was on appeal. And I don't know if you're right about that the grand jury stuff is from the Florida case. I don't think you are. I know the one victim that died wrote a book and said herself that Trump didn't do anything. I think the victims that want names should be allowed to say who did these things without being sued. Ashley WED. All right, well, I don't believe her. Just like you don't believe Katie Johnson, who said that Trump raped her when she was 13. I think Virginia Giuffre was playing it safe because Trump has a zillion lunatics that would try to kill her if she, outed him. So in my personal opinion, I just don't believe Virginia Giuffre. You are a fucking weirdo. Is that right? Bradley Bernash? If America was all like you, wussiness would prevail. Wussiness. What are you, fucking 12? Wussiness. Fucking jerk off. Can't you use the word pussy like a man? Did Trump just release the Epstein files, though they are heavily redacted? No. They weren't released. Just your daily reminder that 65% of us are not Trump-tard cult morons. Keep making money off these dipshits. Thank you. I will, Zuba Master. No, exactly, James Arnold. No, he won't. MAGA are pedo protectors. Facts. Yep. No question about it. If Trump was in the files, the Dems, here we go, would have released the files. That's just you assuming that they would, and assuming that the Dems saw the files, because the files were in the hands of the Department of Justice. Do you understand? Just like how Pam Bondi in May, and this is me even standing up for Trump here. Pam Bondi in May went to Trump and told him his name was in the files. Okay. In other words, Trump didn't tell Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi told Trump. Now, what does Pam Bondi do again? Yeah, she's the Attorney General, right? She's in charge of the Department of Justice. Okay. So Pam Bondi went to him and said, you're in the files, which tells you that Trump did not know, even though by your standards or by your whatever, your fucking assumption, the Democrats had the files. But yet in Trump's term, the Republicans didn't have the files. The Attorney General did. The Department of Justice did. So that would tell you that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and different, Democrats, Schumer and Pelosi, weren't running around looking at the Epstein files. They were in the hands of the Department of Justice. So you don't even know what Democrats knew. But you guys, it goes by, they've checked these states with standardized testing and IQ tests, everything else. And you guys are the dumbest states in America. You can look it up. It's not just that you're the least educated. You can look it up. And by the way, education, it depends on what you're talking about, like formal education, or say things like this, like education on politics and stuff like that. Like when you guys constantly ask the same stupid question, why didn't the Dems release the files? You're not educated in this topic. You're not. You don't know anything about it. And you guys don't know anything about politics in general. I mean, I tear you guys apart every day. Of course, James Arnold, I agree. As long as we get to see you, we will win the next presidency. So thank you for this channel. Yeah, no, you won't. And you think I'm that important that I can sway the election results? Sure. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it. Oh, God. Trump only turns down little boys and then he turns them face down. That's horrible, Ted. How dare you? Trump has enriched himself on the backs of Americans, and you cult members just watch. If you walked into the men's room and he was at the urinal, you'd all open your mouths and kneel. Very true. Very, very true. Let me see here. Oh, shit. God damn it. No, not her. I want to know why the Dems are constantly attacking Trump with everything they could drum up, but they didn't release anything for 4 years. So in other words, nothing I said you took in. You didn't actually take in any of it and understand any of it. So in other words, I'll say it again, Chris. If Pam Bondi had to tell Trump that he was in the files, that would lead you to believe the obvious answer, of course, that the Department of Justice is whose hands those files are in. Okay, they have the files. When you say Democrats, you act like just regular Democrats are running around with complete and total access to the files, when in reality, the Department of Justice had them. So you'd be jumping to the conclusion that the Department of Justice went to the Democrats and said, Trump is all over these, or I'm sorry, what would your thing be if you said so? Oh, they would have gone to the Democrats and said, Trump is all over these files. And then the Democrats said, yeah, but nah. I mean, you answer your own question, right? Of course, the Dems would have used those files to stop Trump from becoming president again. So you got two choices, to whichever one you want to believe. You want to believe that it's because Trump isn't in them. That's ridiculous. Trump was just named 1,686 times out of 20,000 emails between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and Michael Wolff and his brother. Okay. Trump's in the files. There's no question about it. So the obvious conclusion is that Democrats didn't know Trump was in them, right? Because once they found out, what did they start doing? They started pushing like a motherfucker to release the files, didn't they? Yeah, a few months ago. Yep. You know why? Because Donald Trump, his attorney general, said the Epstein list is on my desk and I'm going to review it. And then a few months later came out and said there's no Epstein list. After it was widely reported that a couple of months after she said that, she explained to Trump that his name is all over the files and they assigned FBI agents to redact his name from the files. So that's another reason people are going ballistic. If Trump would have kept his mouth shut and just ignored the whole topic, maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal. But when you run on releasing the Epstein files and your attorney general says the Epstein list, the most important part of the files, is on my desk, then they come out and tell you a little while later, there are no files, there is no list, you're stupid for even thinking there is one. Then that's when people know you're covering up for shit. That's when people know. You know? But Epstein did believe that Trump was the one that put him in jail. He was sore about that. If that's the case, why wouldn't he torpedo Trump? Anthony Welch, give me your credible source for that. Because again, you guys say that on every show and it's not true at all in any way, shape, or form. There's no credible reporting that Epstein thought that, because there's no reason to believe Epstein thought that. Epstein and Trump had a falling out over a real estate deal. That's the only reason he asked Epstein to resign his membership to Mar-a-Lago. They had a falling out over a real estate deal. Trump was never an informant. He never spoke to the FBI about Jeffrey Epstein. None of that. He simply took a call from the victim's lawyer at one point, and the victim's lawyer said that he was helpful, but didn't say what he helped him with. He didn't say if he gave him information on Epstein or not. Eric M. Experts are predicting within 6 months. Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew. Madison Square Garden before the election, Channing released the Epstein files. Is that what they were doing? I don't remember that exactly. There is no desk. What desk? It's a Democrat hoax. Yeah, the desk the files were on. Desk is gone. Files are gone. Everything is gone. Deport this fool. How are you going to deport a U.S. American-born citizen? Joe A67, $5 super sticker. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Epstein was stealing his employees. Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, but according to Donald Trump's, telling of the story, he didn't even know anything about what was going on with the girls. He just knew the guy was stealing employees, and that bothered him. So, but it was over a lawsuit. Epstein was going to buy a property for like $40 million. Okay. And he invited Trump over to, for advice on where to put a pool because Trump was a builder. And Trump bought the house out from under him for $45 million, I think. Okay. Then he sold it a year later for $95 million. So Epstein was beyond pissed off and he was going to sue Donald Trump for that. 2019, Trump put him in jail when he signed the Transparency Act. Why did names of Democrats? Why did names of Democrats what? What does that mean? Trump didn't put him in jail. He got arrested by the Department of Justice. Trump wasn't there, believe me. MAGA, how come Democrats are the only ones that look up facts? They don't know how to do it. I don't think they do. Either that or they just don't want to see the facts. Why didn't he show the files? Who? Pop-ups such as Larry Sanders, Stacey Placid, Jeffrey Timo Obama. Right. Yeah, what? So did Ghislaine Maxwell. What? For the love of God, guys. Holy shit. Guys, hit the like and subscribe. It's very, very important. So how come all of a sudden it's Trump this, Trump that? Because Trump is the current president of the United States. What should it be? Biden this, Biden that? What kind of question is that? How come all of a sudden it's Trump this, Trump that? Yeah, Trump didn't know what Epstein was up to. I don't believe that is true. Of course not. Of course it's true. The guy got accused of raping a 13-year-old with Epstein. The guy fucked Melania on Epstein's jet. That was the first place he ever had sex with Melania. He was best friends with Epstein. He met Melania through Epstein. I mean, they were best friends. He knew what fucking Epstein was up to. The guy's quoted saying, he even likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. He's not talking about 19-year-olds, okay? Believe me. When you're talking about the most prolific pedophile in American history, then you're not. When somebody says they like younger girls, they're not talking about 18 and over. They love it. They've been convinced that the rich, either have their own best, the poor people's best interest at heart, or I don't know. I think they're just stupid. I think they are. Thank you, Unknown Trader. Yeah, everybody hit like and subscribe, please. Maybe Biden family is in the files. Oh, if so, they should all go to fucking prison. Any Democrats, I don't care who's in them. They should all get locked up forever. Democrats only use their own made-up facts. Cult. Well, that's an oxymoron, basically, right there. There's no such thing as made-up facts. Facts are facts. They got to be backed by evidence and shit like that. So if something is a fact, it's a fact. You know what I mean? I know Kellyanne Conway once tried to say alternative facts, but basically she just meant lies. Okay. LOL, show the facts that Trump abused a child. Any facts, go do it. He was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Jeffrey Epstein. She gave a deposition under oath about it, under oath. And then he was found civilly liable for sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll. Plus, I could show you this right here.
Charge.
In this, you'll see where he looks at a 10-year-old girl and says, I'll be dating her in 10 years. So facts, I don't know if you could say we have facts, but all the evidence we need to believe he's a pedo, we have mountains of it.
Charges that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring in the early 2000s that included underage girls as young as 14 years old.
Donald Trump in 2002 said of Epstein, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
He routinely spoke fawningly of Jeffrey. He admired Epstein's lifestyle.
Your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of it.
Yeah. She's actually always been very voluptuous.
What does Tiffany have of Marlon?
She's got Marla's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this blood yet.
You were playing tennis and you came off the court. Quote, look at that piece of I would love some of that. It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha.
I had the impression that he was interested in younger women and that, you know, women would age out for him.
Miss Teen Universe? Yeah, that's like giving Jeffrey Dahmer a cooking show.
I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I standing there with no...
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
A lawsuit against the presumptive GOP nominee alleges he raped a girl when she was 13 years old.
Prince Andrew answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story.
Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right, I was going to say that. But
There you go. There's just a fuck tons of evidence that he's a pedo. You know what I mean? So how come all of a sudden it's Trump? Oh, I read that one. Who cares if Trump knew Epstein? The bottom line is whether Trump was involved with underage females. Yeah, and we have reason to believe that he was. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit. You guys know this guy, right? To have been a pervert his entire life, don't you? I mean, you know that his wife accused him of brutally raping her in like 1989. His wife. You know, he cheated on every wife he's ever had. You know, he's been sexually accused of sexual assault 27 times since the 1970s, not since he started running for president. I mean, when you have all this information at your fingertips, you see him talking about his daughter in a sexual manner. You see him saying, I'll be dating a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. That doesn't give off pedo vibes. Yeah, that doesn't tell you this guy is most likely a pedo. Okay. But Biden, you'll keep bringing up some stupid passage in a diary that the writer of that diary said was grossly misinterpreted and taken out of context, and you'll present it as fact. Do I want another sub, bro? Why are you asking? I don't care, because if I say sure, you're going to be like, well, I ain't subbing to you, fuck face. Sub if you want. I don't give a shit. They were literally neighbors. They were. Put your big pants on, show the Epstein files in June 2024. Let me read that again. Put or big pants on with, for some reason he capitalized big, the B in big, the O in on, and the S in show. So let me read this again. Put or big pants on show the Epstein files in June 2024. It's MAGA, can I say? That's how you know it's not a fake MAGA. That's how you know it's not a bot. A bot would spell shit correctly. That's a true MAGA individual we got in the chat. I have a MAGA cousin who gets saucy when someone fact checks her post, like she'd rather believe some bullshit than be corrected. Oh my God, they hate it. I had a guy in here a couple of weeks ago that literally said to me, fact-checking is bullshit. And I said, what? He said fact-checking was created by the Democrats, which should tell you something, right? Democrats want fact-checking. So it would lead you to believe they're telling the truth. The Republicans don't want fact-checking. That would lead you to believe they're not. But I said to him, so in other words, you think fact-checking is bullshit. So what you're saying is just let anybody say whatever they want and don't check it for facts. Just believe it based on vibes. And he pretty much said, yeah. Okay. J.D. Vance, remember at the debate with Tim Walz, he got pissed off because they were fact-checking him. He said, I thought we weren't going to do any fact-checking. Now, if you're telling the truth, why are you worried about fact-checking? What were you doing when Biden was in office? On any specific day, or what do you mean? The whole 4 years? Pretty much what I'm doing now. What does that mean? Biden and the Dems had 4 years to release the tapes. Oh, the tapes, huh? You guys are so full of shit. Well, Trump had 2 years before the Bidens, before the Biden administration. So why didn't he release them? Cash Patel, put your big pants on, show the files. Okay. Is that what you were trying to say earlier? I thought you were a MAGA person. I'm sorry. Biden had the power. Why didn't he show the files? Why didn't Trump show the files before Biden? Tell me that. Steffelson, 199. Thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it very, very much. You don't have money, and it's not criminal or evidence that he cheated. You don't have money, and it's not criminal or evidence that he cheated. I got to translate from fucktard to English. So what you're saying is the fact that he cheated on his wives is not criminal, and it's not evidence that he's a pedo, I think you're trying to say. No, you ever hear like you know how they'll have character witnesses, shit like that in court cases, you know what I mean? And they'll go off the words of some of those people. Well, you got Donald Trump's own words saying the most perverted shit in the world, like I'm going to be dating a 10-year-old in 10 years, stuff like that. You have the facts, like facts are he cheated on all his wives. Now, if a jury, let's just say they were taking in some of this information, and they were to say, okay, what are the reasons we have to believe this guy might be a pervert? And let's just say they said, well, I'll tell you this, he never cheated on any of his wives. They would say, oh, well, if he's such a pervert, how come he never cheated on his wives? But then they say, well, wait a minute, actually, he did cheat on 3 of his wives. That would give them more reason to believe he's a pig of some sort, right? Who might do something, disgusting to even an underage person. Or at least it'll give you more reason to believe than if he was somebody who stayed faithful to all his wives. You get it? And he wasn't a lifelong pervert. What is this? Did you all know that there is a current lawsuit happening in Palm Springs, $4,310 million against Trump, Musk, and Gates for running an operation identical to Epstein? No, Aurora Lakes, I don't believe that's true. Even though, I mean, as much as I'd love to say, yeah, it is, I don't think it is. Where did you hear that? Shit. Joe Biden also committed adultery and has been accused of sexual assault. Remember Tara Reid? Yeah. The Tara Reid you're talking about, the way you spelled it is an actress, and that's not the Tara Reid. Number 2, the actual Tara Reid, which is spelled Reade, is a kook, literally. Okay, she was discredited by her own bullshit and her witnesses, fucked up changing of their stories. Like, in other words, Tara Reid over the years had been interviewed about Joe Biden, working with him when he was in Senate and shit. She said it was a very relaxed office atmosphere. She never felt uncomfortable. She said that numerous times throughout the years. Then in 2020, very convenient time for her, she came out and said he did do some things that made her feel uncomfortable. I don't believe he ever actually accused her of sexual assault. But he said he did do some things that made her feel uncomfortable. Or even, let's just say she did say he sexually assaulted her. So her story changed numerous times after that first time she told it. And all her witnesses that corroborated her story, all of their stories changed numerous times after the first time they told it. She was known to be a pathological liar. She lied about her pretty much her entire life story throughout her lifetime. And that's why she wasn't taken seriously and she moved to Russia. Also, Joe Biden did not commit adultery. You're just saying that. He absolutely did not. Trump signed the bill, didn't he? Tony, he had no choice. The Republicans made it clear to him, whether he likes it or not, they're going to vote for it in the House and the Senate. So he had two choices, either sign it and figure out how to cover it up after that, or don't sign it and make it obvious that, I'm trying to cover up the Epstein files. So you realize that he tried to cover it up for months. I mean, he did cover it up for months, him and Mike Johnson, for months. This is a good, would you let him babysit your kids? Is the easiest question to prove. If they say no, then there's your answer. If they say yes, you should. Well, I'll tell you what, MAGA people, these diehard MAGA people, they would not only let him babysit the kid, they would let him molest the kids. You know what I mean? That's how much they fucking love him. I mean, they would sacrifice their kids to him. No doubt about it. They would cheer him on. Trump was wearing a tan suit. Yeah, I looked up Andrew Wilson. Yeah, I looked him up. Yeah, you guys are way too impressed by people like this, way too impressed. I got news for you. Let me tell you about debates. It's very easy to win a debate if you're the one telling the truth. You see how you guys, like all day, all night when I do these shows, I make claims and then I show you, whether it's through Grok or Google or something, or I pull up articles or I show you videos. I always back it up. When you guys come in and you say the shit you say, like for instance, Joe Biden was an adulterer, I prove you to be wrong. Okay? Because it's easy, because you're lying and I'm telling the truth. You're wrong and I'm right. So anybody, like if I were to debate anyone on Trump, as long as they're lying about him or they have bad information about him and I have the right information and I'm telling the truth, I win, period. That's how debates work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. Charlie Kirk, when he would catch some fucking unprepared liberal kids, he would out-talk them and he would bullshit constantly and lie to win. But it doesn't mean he was actually the winner, because you could fact check what he was saying and it was all bullshit. This is why Republicans hate fact checking. Democrats think a man can be a woman. No. You just think that we think that. You guys are so stupid. You've been brainwashed by Fox News. It's like I always bring up as an example what they do in the right-wing media. Like, you probably also think we went apeshit when Sydney Sweeney did that commercial, right? Because Fox News, and I saw it with my own eyes, every day for a couple of weeks, they were telling people the liberals' hair is on fire because of the Sydney Sweeney commercial. Meanwhile, every male Democrat I knew was thrilled to see her fine ass in those commercials. She's sexy as a motherfucker. Okay. And I had yet to I didn't see one politician or one podcaster, liberal podcaster, who was actually mad about it. They just tell you guys this stuff. They're batshit crazy. They want to take the attention off themselves and make it seem like Democrats are batshit crazy. So they tell you guys things like we think men can be women. It's absurd that you even believe that. But then again, you believe whatever they tell you. Oh, is that right? I never heard of that, Mike Ramey. Also, this is just whataboutism. Joe Biden is no longer the president. Donald Trump is. What's next? Are we going to litigate the infidelities of Warren Harding? Yeah, I know. That's another thing. But they can't do it. They can't do it because, there's no way to defend Trump, really. There's just no way to do it. So it's just whataboutism. What about Biden? What about Obama? What about this one? What about that one? That's what they got to do. No, they didn't. They didn't. Show me where. Show me where degular 610. Give me the credible source for a liberal men voted to give sex changes to children. I'll wait. Everybody look out for degular 610's comment where he gives us the credible source. Now, of course, I know that never happened. So when I call him out on that, I know I'm going to make a fool out of him because he can't show me a credible source, you know? But that's the thing. That's why you shouldn't throw fake shit in here because I'm going to call you out on it. Vets don't hate Trump, you moron. Oh, because this guy said veterans hate Trump. Just like every group of people, there's veterans too who hate him, sure. It's a non-issue for Democrats. It's just more brainwashing. No one cared about the gender crap. Yeah, no one did. Who was the better option, Kamala? Kamala, the squirrel sitting on my tree outside the window here, my neighbor, anyone in my family, anyone in your family, possibly you guys as well, although you're pretty stupid, birds, raccoons, you name, even Stewie from Family Guy would have been a better president than Donald Trump. So yeah, the answer is yes. Democrats are actively suing Trump because he banned sex changes for kids. God almighty. You see what I mean, man? You see what I mean? Holy shit. It's completely untrue. But go ahead and show me the credible source for that. Thank you. LOL, you must have not been to a VA center lately. Oh, yeah, why is that? Oh, because you're talking about vets not liking Trump? You never show references. References? What do you mean? You want me to show proof of stuff? So just show me, tell me what you want me to show you references to, and I will. You sound like you hate American. Yeah. No. You guys do. We were against the insurrection and trying to overturn a free and fair election. You guys are in love with a traitor. If you're a Republican, if you support Trump, you're not a Republican, patriot, or Christian. You're part of America's dumbest, most gullible population, MAGA. Very true. Virginia Giuffre. Yeah, listen. Personally, you couldn't convince me that she died the way they said she died. Dude, it's funny. Everyone thinks they know everything. Yeah, they think so. They're wrong. That's crazy. Like they promoted trans in elementary schools. MAGA is nuts. They are. They believe this shit, man. This is what Fox tells them. You know, remember what Trump was saying during the campaign? Do you remember this dickhead? He was literally saying, your son goes to school a boy and comes home a girl. Like, yeah, it could be done that like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. Of course it's not true. It's an absurd thought. But they hear that and they believe it. They're very scared people. You have to understand, MAGA, they're afraid of everything. It's literally a scientific fact. I mean, you can look up conservatives' larger right amygdala, and you can see a whole study that was done on it and everything else where people who vote conservative have this larger right amygdala, this part of their brain. And that's the part of your brain that responds to fear, basically, and is stimulated by certain things, you know? So that's why they fucking arm themselves to the teeth, even though, you know, they live in places where they'd never, ever need a gun in a million fucking years. That's why they're very hateful of anybody they don't know or understand because they're scared of them. That's how they are, man. They're scared. So when you feed them more fear, that's why Fox News, listen to Fox News any day of the week. All you're going to hear is shit that's designed to scare the shit out of you. You know what I mean? The Mexicans are coming. The Muslims are coming. You know, they're trying to turn your kids trans, you know, all this dumb shit. It's what they tell you guys and you believe it. Move back to Mexico. You think I'm Mexican? Damn, what is it with these people? Do you guys know what Mexicans look like? Yeah, I'm Sicilian. I'm American. I was born here in America. So, but see what's on their minds all the time. They see somebody who doesn't look lily white, go back to Mexico. Yeah. Oh God, and I don't hate America. You guys hate America. Listen to any Trump rally. All you motherfuckers do, or all Trump does, and you guys cheer him on, is bash America. He bashes it in every way, shape, or form. He never says anything positive about it. Never. It is, Jeff. He tells them they're winning, and that's their sleeping pill. Yep. No, you a plebeian will never see the Epstein files, and right, plebeian, well, right, rightly so, because those who do may get the Houdini treatment and abracadabra. You mean disappear? Yeah. I'm a libertarian, and I don't believe anything that comes from a progressive's mouth, and I don't watch Fox News. That's because you're stupid, because progressives are the ones telling you the truth. I got news for you. Yeah, I know. That's what I start to think sometimes. They don't know what they look like. Nobody in their right mind would ever mistake me for fucking Mexican. Republicans think that if they teach kids about sex, they'll get pregnant. That's why they think if you let kids know some people are trans, they'll become trans. Yep. Democrats are literally so. Why do you keep saying that, regular? I'm just gonna. If you say it one more time, I'm just gonna block the shit out of you because it's not true. And again, I asked you to provide me with a credible source on a couple of things now, and you haven't yet. What a surprise! Grown man jumping on the internet admitting he's gay to the entire world indirectly. Would that be you? Or you're describing yourself? I'm very confused. Democrats. Oh, God. All right. That's enough for you. Bye-bye. Progressives are too afraid. Where did that go? I fucking lost the comment. God damn it. Oh, well. I'm going to get down towards the bottom here. I'm already bored with this horse shit. You do look like a Mexican. Yeah, no, I don't. Believe me. I don't. Gets mad and blocks the person. Now, oh, yeah. Out of all the people that are talking shit to me, the one guy I blocked just happens to be the guy that keeps spamming the chat and putting the same thing in the chat. I didn't get mad. It's a rule on this show. If you spam the chat, you get blocked. I can't stand when people just copy and paste the same thing into the comments over and over again. It's obnoxious as a motherfucker. So if you do that, you get blocked. Yeah. And by the way, the guy's claim is something that Democrats are suing Trump for banning sex changes for kids. I mean, you want me to ask Elon Musk's Grok? Let's ask Elon Musk's Grok. Hey, a fucking moron in my chat just said that the Democrats are suing Trump for banning sex changes for kids. Is this true?
Yeah, kinda. It's not exactly Democrats as a party, but yeah, Democratic-led states like California and a bunch of others, plus groups like the ACLU, sued the Trump admin back in August over his push to...
Oh, wait. Go ahead.
Stuff like puberty blockers and hormone therapy for minors. The suit claims it's unconstitutional, violates equal protection, and oversteps federal authority since healthcare is mostly a state thing. It's ongoing in federal court. So yeah, there's real heat around it. Wild times, right?
So hormone blockers or puberty blockers and hormone therapy, not sex changes. Are Democrats suing Trump for banning sex changes for children? Big guy. None of business. Oh, you. You know what what is a sex change?
According to Denver Health, gender-affirming surgery, also known as sex reassignment surgery or confirmation surgery, is the surgical procedure by which a transgender or non-binary person's physical appearance and functional abilities are changed to align with the gender they know themselves to be.
Yeah, that's a sex change. You're talking about hormone therapy. And you're talking about, what did they say, 2 states, I believe? Yeah. Yep. 2 states. So yeah, Democrats in general, yeah, they're suing Donald Trump for banning sex changes among children, which children can't get sex changes. You understand that? Do you know that even like puberty blockers and shit like that. Like kids got to go to see therapists for years. For years, they have to see doctors and specialists and therapists and all that shit. Because obviously, they're not going to they're not going to let a kid make that decision for themselves. So there's no sex changes going on with children. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah, but after you're given medication like hormone blockers and other things, you don't get a sex change. A sex change is literally like if your dick is taken off and turned into a vagina. That's a sex change, or vice versa. Well, your vagina can't be turned into a dick. I forget what they use to make a fake dick, some body part. But yeah, that's a sex change. You're talking about hormone or puberty blockers, and what do you call it? Hormone therapy, different things. You can't, children, it's illegal in all 50 states. Children, at least on their own, they need parental consent to get any of this, and they can't do it until they're older in their teens. You could check it out, even in California. They are letting them do you not know. Come on, dude. No, they're not. They're not letting them. Show me where a kid got a sex change. Show me where. Go get me the credible source that a kid got a sex change. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll hold, as we say on MobTube. There are no sources for that, I am sure. Of course not. Look. What did I just say? I asked, are kids getting sex changes, you stupid fucks? Gender-affirming surgeries for minors are rare and typically involve older teenagers who have undergone extensive psychological and medical evaluations with no surgeries performed on children aged 12 and younger. So, there you go. Age limits, international guidelines from groups like the World Professional Association for Transgender Health and the Endocrine Society generally recommend that genital surgeries be reserved for individuals aged 18 and older. Okay. Some exceptions for certain chest surgeries, like mastectomies, may be made for minors who meet specific criteria, typically around age 16. Fucking stupid, I'm telling you. Children aren't getting this shit done. It's not happening. It's not happening. It said it's rare. It didn't say, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, what the guy said is that Democrats, like as a whole, Democrat politicians in general, are suing the Trump administration for banning sex changes among children when that's not true. There's no sex changes among children to ban, and Trump did not ban sex changes. He did not. And 16, not a child, LMAO, you're a pedo. I am? You know that Donald Trump said that hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted disease, and he doesn't think kids should have to get vaccinated for that because it's a sexually transmitted disease. So he said that maybe we'll start at the age of 12. 12. Now, who sounds like a pedo? Oh, I know. That's another thing they believe. Kitty litter boxes. You're unbelievable. You believe there's kitty... Guys, who in this chat believes there's... I know, Rick Young. I said what Trump said. It is sexually transmitted, though, too, hepatitis B. Ask... what was I going to say now? Motherfucker. Oh, how many of you MAGA people think that there's kitty litter boxes in schools? Just out of curiosity, be honest. Yeah, I agree with you. A 12-year-old is a child. And if you saw what it said, right? because that's what you guys do. It said there's no, hold on, now I got to look it up again. I don't even know what I looked up, but it did not say that they can get the surgery at 12 years old. It did not say that. It said something like no surgery for anyone under that age. But surgery is generally reserved for 18 and older, or older teenagers is typical, which would be 17, 18, 19, stuff like that. So you guys just spin shit that you hear. Alabama says a 12-year-old isn't a child. The Bible clearly says it too. Yeah, it's creepy. But I'm not surprised Alabama says that. More guns in school than kitty litter boxes. Yeah, there's no such thing as a kitty litter boxes being in schools. I actually checked one time just because some asshole teacher of my stepkids, my stepsons, told him that there's kitty litter boxes in some high schools in the U.S. And I looked it up every which way. There's not a single school in America that happened in. Again, they believe people they follow no matter what. Keyword is follow. MAGA can't lead anything because they only follow and do what they are told to believe by this president. That is true. Surgery is for health problems and should not be used to deface yourself. Well, so in other words, you're against women getting breast implants. How about BBLs? You against that too? Okay. So plastic surgery shouldn't be a thing, is what you're saying? Gotcha. As long as that's what you stand on. And it's not just, in reference to sex changes. So far, we saw Larry Summers involved with Epstein and Congressman Plaskett asking questions in a hearing real time for Epstein via text and all. Well, we know about Larry Summers. And Larry Summers, I believe, resigned from Harvard, right? Plaskett took text messages, and to me personally, she's a cunt. Anybody who associated with Epstein is a piece of shit. But again, you're conflating two different things where Larry Summers might have actually done some shit illegal, and Plaskett, who just took some text messages during a hearing. But again, guys, when you say that, never forget, since that's a big deal to you, Larry Summers and Plaskett, never forget that Donald Trump was his best friend, Epstein's best friend for 10 years. So if you're going to call them out and not Trump, dude, there's kids out here in California on puberty blockers at 10 and 11 years old. Puberty blockers, I don't doubt. Puberty blockers. Yeah, not sex changes. Hormone therapy and puberty blockers are different things. A sex change is an actual surgery where body parts are removed or added. That's not a thing that's happening. Even the Grok bitch said hormone therapy and puberty blockers. She did not say sex changes. Jesus fuck. Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh my God. Charlie Kirk said that if his daughter got pregnant, his 10-year-old daughter, he'd force her to have the baby. That doesn't bother you guys at all, right? Thank you, Mark. 12-year-old is a kid. No need to talk about that. I don't get why so many MAGA minions are focused on the sex of other humans. It's like I said, man, it's anything they don't know scares them. You know what I mean? It bothers them. It really, really does. It's very bizarre, but I just think my guess would have to be that these are just old people, old miserable motherfuckers that are set in their ways, even though many of them are younger. They might have been raised a certain way, and anything they don't agree with is wrong as far as they're concerned. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, they won't, well, wait, hold on. What was I saying? I forget. Let me read this comment. Rush Limbaugh talk shit about Clinton and Obama nonstop, but they complain about you. They won't ever. Oh, I got what you're saying. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying a second ago. Oh yeah, no. Now I looked at the comment. Yeah, it's just I don't know anything they don't know. These people want everyone to live the way they want to live. That's why they push their religion on people. That's why they can't shut the fuck up about their religion. They don't respect anybody's beliefs. They don't care. As far as they're concerned, you must be a Christian. It's just like these arrogant motherfuckers that talk about the Constitution, but completely ignore freedom of religion and want Christianity taught in public schools, want prayer in public schools. Now you'll also see them go ape shit if they even think there might be a a Muslim, some sort of lesson on Muslim anything in school, they'll go berserk. But Christianity is is perfectly fine. And in fact, they insist on it. I mean, Trump has Bibles for fuck's sake. MAGA, Scott Besson, Trump's number one guy, is gay, married to a man. Look it up. He lives in a pink mansion. That fruit. He does. It's true. Just admit that Charlie Kirk was an LGBTQ hero. I can't. They get views from their dads, yes. Please protest in all possible ways to stop this fascist regime. MAGA is a fascist cult, love and support from Germany to all real Americans who stand up against this fascist regime. Nope, doesn't bother me. Abortion shouldn't be allowed unless necessary to save the life of the mother. So a 10-year-old should be forced to have a baby. A rapist's baby. Because anybody who has sex with a 10-year-old is a rapist, right? And they even asked the question, if your 10-year-old was raped, would you force her to have the baby? And he said yes. And that, to you, Lynn Eric, or whatever your name is, you agree? A 10-year-old should be forced to have a baby? Let me see. I want to see you actually say it. In my opinion, gender-affirming care should be banned for 25 years and under, because the fact of the matter is some kids are being socially pressed into being gender fluid and ruining the kid's life. I don't believe that they are. We disagree on that. I've seen no proof that anybody's trying to twist the kid's arm into being transgender. I don't even see what the purpose in that would be. Although gender-affirming care is something I don't really give two shits about. I don't understand any of that trans stuff and all that shit. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and defend gender affirming care. I'm just not bothered by trans people, and I figure let them do whatever they want. Me personally, I don't think, especially anyone under 18, should have any of this stuff done. But that's why I'm not sweating the issue, because as I just read you, and even as Grok told you, if you listened, it's not really happening with children. You know what I mean? It's really not. And they have to go through years, extensive psychology shit, okay, to even be able to. My personal opinion is I don't know why anybody would ever change their situation, because you might regret it one day. But I guess people want to be who they are. You know? I don't know. But I don't believe kids are being pushed into it at all. Mike, you brought up a case once. I believe it was you. It was a California case where it was 2 teachers in the entire state of California, the entire country, who socially transitioned the kid. So it's an issue like men and women's sports. It's not a real issue. It's a joke. A fetus is a life by definition. If it wasn't alive, it wouldn't grow. Now, if you want to argue it isn't a person, you can, but that argument is easy to beat too. Okay, so a fetus is a life. So is a bee, for example. So if I kill a bee, is that equivalent to killing a fetus? What if I kill a flower? That's a life. Are you putting them on the same level? What argument is easy to beat, though? If you want to argue it isn't a person, that argument is easy to beat too. No, it's not a person, because Lynn Eric, let me tell you, if you kill a baby or a person, you go to prison. Matter of fact, if you kill a child under the age of 12, you generally will be eligible for the death penalty for that. If you kill it, what did I say? Children? A child under the age of 12. So, how do you explain to me how a fetus is a person, or even a child? Well, a child's a person, but you know what I mean. Tell me how, because if you killed a living being, you go to prison, right? We can agree on that. So then we're talking about human rights, but that is a nice attempt at false comparison fallacy. No, it's not. It's not. No, killing a bee or any other animal is not equivalent to killing a fetus, because those are not human lives, unlike the human fetus in question. What does that matter? What, you just decided that human life is superior to that of a bee or something like that? You said a life. See, this Lynn Eric, this is why you got to be careful with your language. This is why I could already tell you suck at debating, because you should have said it's a human life, but you said it's a life, and that's where I got you with the bee thing. Okay, an ant is a life. A lot of shit is life, but you decide you can kill you can kill a spider, right? But a fetus, no good. Understood. Yeah, what's my name, Rando? Please tell me what my name is. We were talking about human rights, but that's the one I read. Would you disown anyone in your family that voted Republican? No, that voted for Trump, I already have. Yes. That's a good question, Anthony Welch, because if you give an abortion, you don't go to prison, right? So I don't know. You'd have to ask somebody smarter than me about that. Really? Like what, Jim Rat? Just out of curiosity. Like releasing the Epstein files, or like civil rights? Civil rights are always on the wrong side of, you think? Interesting. Should go to prison for killing a fetus as well. Just because the law isn't that way doesn't mean it should be. That's not logic. You're just trapped. Let me ask you something. Why do you guys care about fetuses when you don't care about human life? Just out of curiosity. No, but you didn't say a human life. We were not arguing over human rights. You're just now saying that. But Lynn, what if I feel like an animal should have as many rights as a fucking fetus, and then if you kill a deer while you're hunting, then it's murder? Just like killing a fetus. What about that? You're going to tell me I'm wrong? Or is that my opinion? A fetus is life. Yeah, but it isn't. When the heart beats, sure. You know what's funny, though? Oh, yes, I did, Roland. I did argue that a human life is superior to a bee. If you want to argue otherwise, you are welcome, but most of humanity will treat you as unseriously. No. It's, you guys are absurd. Do you understand? I'll tell you why. You guys are ridiculous. Let me let George Carlin tell you. Let me let George Carlin tell you. He'll explain it much better than I can, even though I could, explain it just fine on my own. The hypocrisy of you motherfuckers and this pro-life horse shit. You are the most hypocritical people in the fucking world. You seriously are. How much of that can I get away with playing? Okay, fuck it. Let's see. I might have to take the show down if I get in trouble, but no big deal. His views suck anyway. Guys, hit the like and subscribe, though. Thank you. Right. So there you go. You have no brain. Why don't you call in 410-941-9850 and debate me? Who has the most abortions? Oh, Democrats. You think? Okay. Do you have the numbers for that exactly, or are you just guessing that? You're just told to say all this. By who? Who's telling me? Who are not pro-life but are abortion abolitionists. That doesn't even make sense. If you're abortion abolitionist, you're by definition pro-life, right? Or at least that's what you guys call yourselves. None of you are actually pro-life. You don't give a fuck about life. You hate every fucking body. You just want those fetuses born. Guys, you only care about controlling women. That's it. That's all you care about. That's all you care about. You don't give a fuck about babies. How many homeless have you fed, fuckface? I've fed a homeless guy named Tony Pizza for 4.5 years now. 4.5 years now. The guy would have never eaten without me. You could ask the people in the chat with wrenches. There you go. How about that? And almost outside, you're going to tell me how many you fed while you're using a fake avatar and a fake name? Yeah, I'll just take your word for it. God was a pretty big asshole in the Old Testament. Yeah, but that's why they changed it. It wasn't appealing to the masses. This is who the Democrats are. Who? A guy that thinks that, like, I've seen enough in my life to know why abortion is necessary sometimes. Like, for example, a lot of abortions are because the mother has her life is at risk, and I don't want to hear shit about you're okay with that, because conservative politicians say no excuses, not even for rape or life of the mother. Okay. There's also a lot of people that find out while the baby's in the womb that they're going to be severely mentally impaired or disfigured. In my opinion, they're doing the baby a favor. Why bring them into the world so they could suffer for 90 fucking years or so? Okay. Rape, please. You're telling me a woman who gets pregnant under no fault of her own, she gets brutally attacked in an alley, and she's impregnated with the rapist baby, should have to give birth to that baby and look at the reminder of that brutal assault every day of her life from then on out. You're pure evil. You are pure fucking evil. That's what you guys are. You always have been. You're sick, twisted people. Liberalism is on full display right here. No. I just believe in abortion. I'm not a liberal. Yeah. Well, it's just like the Republicans. They helped that woman. What's her name? They helped her get an abortion. Who is the woman that was helped to get an abortion by the Republicans? I should have said who was helped by the Republicans to get an abortion. Who was the woman that was helped by the Republicans to get an abortion?
Oh, you're thinking of Rep. Kat Kamek from Florida. Back in June, she had an ectopic pregnancy and needed meds to end it. But docs hesitated because of the state's abortion laws. Turns out she got the help she needed, and now she's blaming left-wing fear-mongering for the whole mess. Wild, right?
Yeah. And it was some Republican politicians, like I think Mike Johnson was part of it. There were several that helped her to get this abortion. Oh, yeah. Now, do women who have the same ectopic pregnancy get that same privilege? No. If the state says it's illegal, it's illegal. They'll die. The state doesn't give a fuck. But that representative, no problem getting her an abortion. No fucking problem. Let me check something. She hated blacks, wanted all the blacks to have abortions. Who is that again? No. Mike Ramey. That's you putting the child's life ahead of the mother's. Now, that guy, I know what you're going to say, because there's all these kooks that come out to the Republican Party and they say, I was a child of rape, but my life is so great. I thank God that my mother carried me to term and gave birth to me. Meanwhile, you give a shit how the mother feels? How do you care about how the mother feels? You're not liberal. Come on, man. I'm not. I'm simply not. That is freaking hilarious that you mentioned someone who had to help removing an ectopic pregnancy, which is exactly the situation that every single abortion man makes an exception for. No. Did you hear? She needed help from powerful politicians to get that the medicine for that would essentially kill the fetus. Okay, it was not legal in Florida, but they made a special exception for her. It is not true what you're saying. It is not true. There's women dying all over America because of that same fucking problem. Oh, you're a lawyer, Lynn Eric? I'll take your word for it. A busy lawyer in here on a fucking Monday. What is it, Tuesday? What day is it? Tuesday? Yeah. Afternoon watching me on YouTube. Yeah, you're a lawyer. Yeah, and I'm an astronaut. Why not? We could be whatever we want to be on the internet, right? Yeah. Good, Roland West. Leave. Who needs you? Let's say your wife got raped. You were telling us you would raise that child? No. What the fuck? Haven't you been listening to me? No, and I would strongly suggest that she does not have that baby, because why would she want to? What, are you confused about my argument or my side of the argument? I don't get it. Let me see something. Oh, and by the way, you guys might want to check out the abortion rates in these red states before it was made illegal there. You might want to look into that because now they're just going to other states to get it done. This is YT, be anything you want. You know it, Miss Can't Be Wrong. We've seen it for years now. No, I made an argument saying that everyone has a right to their natural life. I never said that you have to stem that basis from God. Okay, so it's just your opinion then. And as a lawyer, the one that you play on YouTube, I don't understand. You've made this decision for everyone, even when it was legal under federal law and stuff. You've decided as a lawyer that it's not right. What kind of lawyer are you, by the way? You ever defend a murderer or something like that? Just out of curiosity. Who's going to raise all these babies with severe birth defects? Well, you know what's funny is when people talk about pro-immigration, these same assholes will say, well, you going to take in these illegal immigrants? You're going to let them live with you? I say the same thing about these babies. So I've seen enough in life, okay? We all have. Babies, you know, a fucking girl gives a birth to a baby she doesn't want, she throws him in a fucking dumpster, or the kid winds up behind a toilet bowl in a high school fucking bathroom, the baby, you know? You want all kinds of unwanted kids to be brought into this world so they can live horrible, horrible lives filled with suffering and poverty and everything like that. I mean, who's the real evil one? This was in Alabama before Roe v. Wade fell. They were going to let me die rather than help, called it abortion, though my son was dead. Oh, you had a stillborn. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Then why do I keep claiming to be a plumber? Well, you might be one of the ones that are telling the truth. Chris Atkinson. It was legal in Florida. There were doctors who were unsure about how it's supposed to be applied. You talking about the case that I just brought up? Let me ask. I want to see who she got help from, by the way. Hold on. Who did that Republican representative get help from so she could have an abortion in Florida? Hold on. The Republican representative received an emergency medical procedure for life-threatening ectopic pregnancy in Florida was Rep. Kat Cammack. It's not answering my question. According to reports, when Cammack went to the emergency room in May 2024, doctors and nurses were hesitant to provide immediate treatment, a shot of methotrexate to end the non-viable pregnancy, because they feared prosecution under Florida's new 6-week abortion ban. Like I said, Lynn Eric, attorney at law, it was illegal. Fucking, I'm a lawyer. Yeah. Oh, shit. Which she had supported. She supported the 6-week abortion ban until she needed one. The law had an exception for cases where the mother's life was at risk, but the lack of clarity made the medical professionals wary of legal responsibilities. So you see how women wind up dying in situations just like that, where they say, oh, I don't know if I could do anything. And they just let the woman die because they're not going to risk their medical licenses and malpractice insurance or malpractice lawsuits and all that shit. See how that could be dangerous? I'm not arguing that she didn't have to go through legal channels to get it clarified because there were some dumbasses that couldn't read the law that clearly states an exception is afforded to save. Well, Lynn Eric, you look at all the states where women have died because of the same exact issue, where doctors were afraid to operate on her because of these laws that have been put in place. And women that have died because it's just plain illegal in certain states. And, you know, why don't you read it to me, Lynn Eric? Put it in the chat. Oh, shit, what you quoted is exactly what I said about the law. Oh, my God, I was right. No, you are not. No, Lynn Eric, they don't have to risk it anymore because it has already been clarified in the courts. Your argument is moot. That's not true. You'd have to say in every state where there's a 6-week ban or it's illegal that it's been clarified in courts. And stories that have been going around in the news for a couple of years now tell us that's clearly not true. Yeah, well, somebody in here said that surgery should only be used, I don't know, like to save a life or something like that. Otherwise, it's like self-mutilation or something. And I said, oh, so you guys have a problem with chicks getting like breast implants and BBLs. Lynn said they have a master debate. Agree. Lynn said they have a master debate. Yeah, call in lawyer. Yeah. I don't want to call in. I don't want to call some idiot. Yeah, no, you're just afraid because I'll demolish you in a debate. You know I will. You know I will. Is that true, War? Holy shit. Okay, so call in 410-941-9850. I'll be waiting. All right. Anyway, we're down to 93 people here. I've been on this bitch for an hour and 33 minutes. I guess I'm going to get going for now. I'm not about to be manipulated. You won't be manipulated. You'll be destroyed in the debate. That's all. I'm going to get going, guys. I'll see you later for another one of these. Peace. I'm letting you know, too, if the views are real low, I'm just going to fucking delete it because it won't help me with YouTube. It'll only hurt me. Peace, guys.